Welcome to Webpreneur Wednesday. This is Amir Anzur, and in this webinar, I'm going to be covering a real important part of your business, which is how to hire and manage virtual teams. So this is an art form, and I've been now outsourcing for 8 years, 9 years, since 2003 at least. I've been doing this. And this is a skill that's very critical for you to understand how this works, what the benefits are. And if you really want to be successful in your business, once you get this, you will greatly speed up things. It's something that's taken me a while to really understand as well, and I'm going to show you the tools I use. And these techniques are really going to help you out. So, why outsource? Well, right now I'm in Dubai, and I'll give you some examples of why I would want to outsource. Let's say before the internet came along, and how businesses at the moment and what most people do is they hire physical employees. Now, physical employees in Dubai, for instance, in most Gulf countries, what does it mean? It means I have to put an ad out in the newspaper, and usually local people apply. Right? So people who are based around my city. And what happens, so already I'm limited to the talent pool that can apply. Now, assuming that I meet someone that I like, just the visa cost alone is going to cost me approximately $2,000. This is going to go through a whole formality of going through and finding about this person, having to go to a medical exam, having to screen test this and that, going through various documents that we need to send to the government. And so by the time you've actually begin any kind of work, you've at least lost 2 to 3 weeks. So what happens is 3 weeks later, this person starts. Now this person, I then need to buy them a laptop. I need to have a place for them. And in UAE, for instance, you're limited by your license by how many people you can hire. So depending on your license, you might have only 5 people that you can hire in that visa. Now, so once I've got them there, this is what happens. And then the other bad part is that I feel bad about hiring and firing. I mean, so what happens is if I hire someone and I go through all this bureaucracy and then it doesn't work out, I feel bad about firing them, especially in places like the UAE where, you know, these people will basically have to get kicked out of their homes and go back to their country because they don't have a visa anymore. So there's a lot of emotional stress as entrepreneurs to have someone locally hired. Even I've hired in the UK. In the United Kingdom, you've got national insurance tax, you've got a whole bunch of bureaucratic things that you need to go through in order to hire. And you need to get insurance for these people as well. So the other alternative is, and most of you that are listening to this webinar are small business owners, right? So you don't have a lot of cash, and what happens is if you make a mistake in hiring, which I've done many times, and if your employee is sitting around doing nothing, you are in effect burning money. So if you are paying your employee, for instance, $5 an hour, and they're just on Facebook chatting to their friends, it's the equivalent of you just taking $5 and burning it, right? So obviously a real waste of money. So you as an employer have to be very effective and ruthless in managing it, because what I've made the mistake oftentimes is hiring people that are sitting around and they're looking for direction, and I'm off busy in my own life, and what it is I'm effectively burning money. So you got to be really ruthless in how you manage people so that you're getting the most productivity out of them and your team is working well. So I think it's relatively clear the benefits of hiring online. So when the disadvantages of hiring online is that you're not with the person physically. So there's no, right now, for instance, I'm speaking to you, I'm in a room in a house, and I don't have any employees around me. So what happens is sometimes in work, ideas, they happen by the water cooler. those types of things are not happening as much. But on the other hand, when I'm talking to my employees and people I work with online, I get straight down to business. I don't do hello, hi, how was your weekend, this and that. Or even if I do those, I cut it really short. So we're really focused on work, and that minimizes the number of meetings we have, and we're much more effective in how we run the business. So now, how do I hire, and how can you hire as well, and how can you run this so that you're getting the most your money's worth out of this? And again, this is a very important skill to have. I used Firstly, to hire, I use a website called Odesk. So if you go to www.odesk.com, you will get on it. So Odesk is founded, I think, 7-8 years ago. Over time, it's grown. Now look at what I do. I do all sorts of jobs on this. Virtual assistant for web entrepreneur, create a promo video, voiceover. I needed someone to teach me Moodle, which is a learning platform. Wanted someone to do iMovie and Keynote, virtual assistant, translate a book into Arabic or Urdu, developers. So all these different types of postings I've put up, right? So now I'll just show you how we post a job. So what we could do is we go here, we post a job, and you have different teams. So as I had different companies, I had different teams. What you would do is pick the category. For instance, web development or software development or writing and translation or administrative support or design, customer service, sales and marketing, business services. It's not critical to get it right, but just pick something that's the closest match for what you're looking for. So let's say we're looking for design and multimedia. Then let's say we're looking for graphic design. Then you say graphic designer to create website look and feel. Looking for a graphic designer to work in Photoshop to create the look and feel for webpreneuracademy.com. Must have great English skills, Photoshop, design skills. I'm just giving you an example. You will be asked to work through Skype. Now what happens is I can put that with all the skills that I'm looking for. Then I can do it at an hourly or a fixed price. I can say that it's going to be estimated duration is going to be ongoing, 1 to 3 months, less than a month, less than a week, whatever I feel, right? So I can put this as ongoing. Estimated workload, it could be part-time, as needed, less than 10 hours, right? So this is great because, sometimes you get stuck with some software that you just cannot figure out. Even let's say if you're using PowerPoint and you're not a pro at PowerPoint, why not just get someone else to do this for you? So what happens is I do that. You can even look at scores, and there's some advanced sections where you can ask, if they've already got experience, etc. I'm going to leave that. And I can post a job. Now, the beauty of this is, compare this to the old way of working. In the old economy, when I wanted to hire someone, I would, in somewhere like Dubai, I would go to dubizzle.com. I would put up ad on it. Then what happens is sometimes, right now it's 7 p.m. People are not necessarily applying, right? Because it's different time zones. People are not replying. And you know, if you put a ad in a newspaper, you got to wait at least 2 days, 1 or 2 days till it comes out. On this, it's instant. I've just replied, I've just applied, I've just sent the resume now or the application now, and people are applying. These are some suggestions that Odesk is giving for contractors that I can contact. Now, what happens? What happens is you get a ton of people replying to your ad. So for instance, this was an ad that I put a while ago saying virtual assistant to web entrepreneurs. So I just needed some smart brains to work with me. These are all the people that replied to that ad. If you can see this person, $16.67 an hour, right? And she's or he's based in United Kingdom. This person from Romania is $4.44 an hour. This person, Olito, is in the Philippines at $3 an hour. A person in the United States for $16 an hour. A person from Bangladesh at $1.11 an hour, right? $1.11 an hour. If you think about a full 1 day, 1 day is what, 8 hours? That's, you know, you're paying him $10 a day. This is crazy good, right? So $5.56 an hour, this person. Now what I can also see is why some of these people are rating lower than, bidding lower than others is because some of them have feedbacks and others don't, right? So just like eBay, you have a feedback system out of 5. This person's feedback is 2.8. This person's feedback is 4.3. So I can see that if they've worked with people before or if they've not. So let's look at this person, for instance, Ahmed Shekhar. I'll just show you the ad, the original ad that I wrote. So this is the original ad, which has, you know, I'm looking to hire an assistant to help me full-time. You must have great English, ability to manage yourself, broadband connection, own laptop, commitment and initiative taker, customer management skills. And this is something that, you know, a lot of you, I would recommend you go ahead and hire with. Then what I do is this person, Ahmed Shekhar, he replied. And let's see what he says. Dear Mr. Anzur, I hope this finds you well. I used to do research in an IT manager of international group of companies, and I've been holding this position, etc., etc. I have worked in website. I worked with WordPress, Joomla. This is actually quite a long thing, but clearly, you know, quite well-educated guy that I can see. Now, I can also see the recent work that he's done for other clients. So, virtual personal assistant. This guy gave him a 3.7, provided good quality. His schedule seemed to clash with work requirements, which result unable to keep his time. So this guy only gave him a 3.7. This guy gave him a 5. Or he gave a 5 back. So what you can see is, so you know, you can trust better if you can hire. So now what I typically do is when I see someone, I either just star them so they're shortlisted, and then I send them a message and I say, hi Ahmed, can you add me on Skype? And I give them my Skype ID. I don't want to give you guys my Skype ID on this video because I get a lot of requests. And you know, whatever my Skype ID is, and then I just do a send. Usually then what happens, they will add me on Skype and I am good to go, right? So then I get, I'm on Skype, they usually send me a request and they've added me, and then usually I just speak to them straight away and I can test their English. By the way, one of my criteria I look for is English, and some of them you can really tell cannot speak English that well. You can just tell by the way that they reply to the ad what level of English they have, and you can then go and hire them. And so if I then like them, I can hire them. Now what I need to do is pay using a credit card, using Odesk, and Odesk takes a 10% fees. So for instance, if I hire someone for $10 an hour, Odesk will take $1, and a contractor will get $9 an hour. Now, so that's great, because what you can now do is hire someone for a short time. You just hire them for 1 or 2 tasks. Why? Because you're testing how good they are. Now, the great thing about this Odesk is it's a capitalist dream, right? Because Odesk employees know that you have a lot of choice. If I'm not happy with their work, I could terminate the contract at any time. There's no, if someone's based in the Philippines, what are they going to do? Go to the Dubai government and sue me? Those types of things don't happen, right? So what happens is, and they can also see how many other people are competing for a job, right? So if I look here, all these people are saying, oh my God, there's 43 other applicants, and I limited the I put down a salary on it, so I'm sure I could get even more. They're saying, hey, if I don't perform, this guy will change and get someone else on. Compare that to a normal government situation where you hire and the person says, hey, I basically cannot get fired, so let me just take my time on this. These guys are usually working for themselves. So either they have a daytime job and they're really interested in just learning and getting some experience, or they're students, or they are full-time, stay-at-moms or stay-at-home moms, or just full-time people that are interested in this kind of stuff. So you get really great responses here. And so I've really been impressed, because I've worked with people that I didn't hire on Odesk, and I think Odesk I've had the best experience on, I can say, over the long term. I had made some mistakes. So for instance, I hired one person to write me an ebook. She was based in Australia, and it was supposed to be a well-researched, a big project. And I paid $1,000 up front, and then I never got the book, right? So that was my early on mistake. Now I don't do that kind of stuff, right? And I'm much more aggressive, because I was, let's say, Mr. Nice Guy in terms of management. Now I follow through a lot more with my employees, so I get much more of my money's worth. Because once you start realizing that these guys will do things much faster than you will, spending time figuring out yourself, and you're better off just being able to manage them well. So this is what will happen. Now, usually within half an hour or so, or within 45 minutes, I usually have a couple of responses at least. So this one, I mean, if you look here, I needed an open card expert. 5 hours ago, I posted that. I already have 18 responses, right? So this is the amazing thing about this is you can get responses quite quickly. Now, what happens once I've gotten the response and I've spoken to them on Skype, and then I agree with them a rate. Then what happens is we just like the work begins. I say, when can you start? They usually say, okay, straight away, or they say tomorrow, and then we go for it. Now, what do we use? We use a few tools. Now, I'm going to show you some tools that you can use to manage your team. First of all, there's Skype. Skype is predominant around the world. Every contractor basically has Skype. In UAE, Skype is available, except you cannot download it, but it's not blocked, right? So, for instance, I'm on Skype. I'm not using any unblock equipment or anything like that. It's all legal as far as I know, but it's just that in order to download it the first time, I had to be out of the country. Now, what I can do is I can click on this person, and I can press share screen. This is really powerful, because what that means is, rather than just having a call where we're doing a video call or a face-to-face, if you do a share screen, they are now looking at your screen, and whatever you look at, they can look at too. So just like you're looking at my screen now, they'll be able to look at your screen as well. So this is one of the things to note. Now, the other things is that's one of the tools that I use is Skype. Another tool I use is join.me. So if you go on join.me, you will be able to share a screen. So if you don't have something like Skype, or if you want to share with 10 people rather than just a few with Skype, you have to pay a premium video group calling thing. So unless if you're one-to-one, Skype works great. But if you have many contractors, you'll have to use something like join.me. With join.me, you can it's a free tool, join.me, which you have to install. But now what happens is, if you look, what happens is it says connecting, and I will just show this tool. Like it'll give me a number, share my screen with others, and this number now, it's doing, I'm going to copy this. So I'm going to copy this, copy viewer link to clipboard. And if I put it on this sort of thing, you guys can already come on and share that with me. So all I have to do is paste that link, give them on Skype or whatever I'm using, and now they can start viewing my screen. So this way I'm really able to explain to them what I want. So I can say, hey, can you move this site here? Can you move this thing here? Or explain anything I want, and we're all looking at the same screen. So really useful tool, join.me. Another tool that you can use, and I really like this tool, and especially if you're not you don't consider yourself a good techie and you hate dealing with technology, is TeamViewer. With TeamViewer, what can happen is someone can take over your entire screen. So what happens is you both install TeamViewer on your computer, and it gives you a special number and a special code. And for instance, if I give you that code, you can then take over my screen. So when you move your mouse, you're actually moving the mouse for me on my screen. So this is really useful, because what you can do is, let's say you're working on a problem and you want to fix something locally, like organize your hard drive. You can give it to your, you can give it to your virtual assistant while you go out, get a coffee, and they're working on your machine, backing up your data or whatever that needs to be done locally, or creating your PowerPoints, or doing whatever you need them to from their computer to your computer. So you could be out and about and they can use this. Really, really useful tool. And this is how you can offer support as well. So join.me, TeamViewer, Skype, these are 3 tools that I use. Now, the other thing that can get quite confusing is how you manage. So now I have multiple employees in multiple countries and cities. Now, how can I manage them? Well, there's various project management tools, like Basecamp is one of them. There's quite a few, but over the years, what I found that the one that I'm liking the most right now is called Trello, Trello. Now, if you look here, this is my Trello blackboard. Basically, we have it pretty simple. We have 3 buckets: to do, doing, and done. These are all the tasks that I can think of that I want people to do. I want them to make video on using Trello for productivity module, one of my teaching modules. Figure out how to link YouTube account for Facebook. Let's say I can create another tool saying, demo, upload demo video. And this is what I want, right? Now what I can do, if I look at that card, I can look at this card and I can add more description. I can add activity to it. I can upload a file, for instance, a picture or document or whatever it might be that's associated with that activity. I can add checklists to it. Do this first. Do this second, right? So where they can we can have a checklist, and what we can do is we can put labels on it. So I've put labels low, medium, high. Like what is a priority? Low, medium, or high? So I can give it a high priority, and I can assign it to a member. So these are some of the members on this project. So I can give it to this guy and assign it. And then, for instance, if I give it to this guy and assign it to Aaron as part of my team, then I can also put a due date on it. And that's it, right? So I put a due date, and I can even vote on it for whatever reason. If I want to say that this is, when you grow your team, people might say, yeah, this is better than that. Then what I can do is, if I want to look, search and filter cards, I can just find tasks that are assigned to Aaron, or tasks that are assigned to Amna and Aaron, or Amna and Amir and Aaron, or Iris as well. Yeah, so I can filter, or I can just look for all the high tasks that I have, high rated tasks. And what happens is, once these people start working on the task, they can drag and drop it to the doing. And when they're done with it, they can drag and drop it to the done. Really cool, right? So, and once it's in the done, what I do is I go here and I archive it. So you can, just like a production factory, it's really easy to move around. The tool is free to use, and you can get started on it. So Trello, a tool that I like. Other ones that I've used in the past, like Basecamp HQ, is also, a lot of people are fans of it, but it costs like $49 a month, and it's $49 a month. And the issue with it is that it's I found it a little too complicated to use, or $20 a month it starts from. So you have to find what's right for you. Now, this is the overview of outsourcing. I really recommend for you to go onto Odesk, create an account, hire one person to do one task for you, and remember to value your own time, right? How much is your own time worth? If you're making $5 an hour, or if you can go out and do something that you're good at and the world pays you $10, $20, $30 an hour, why waste 2 hours of your time looking at things when you can just use someone else's tools and use someone else's skill? And all these guys, there's many skills that you can find. So for instance, find contractors. If I just go here, I can see a list of all the work that's available, and you'll see it's huge, the number of, let me just, if I can log out. The other tool that I've used is Elance, but I just like Odesk. The other thing you can do with Odesk is, when you've hired someone, you can also look at their screen. So there's a thing called Team Room. I'll just show you if I can. So this is how I'm paying. I'm paying by Visa. Work Diary. There's a thing called Work Diary, and I can look at someone's work diaries to see what they've done. I don't know if it's going to show me something I had done recently. But what happens is, this work diary will show you someone that you hired, and you will be able to see whatever their time zone, like what was on their screen. Every 6 minutes, it has a thing which takes a screenshot every 6 minutes, and it displays it to you. So if you can see, if you're paying them by the hour, if they're goofing around on Facebook, or they're actually doing what they're meant to be doing. So this is a very cool tool. I really like it as well. So this is it, and I will take any questions if you've got. I'll just put some of you guys on speaker. So Asma Qureshi. Yeah, good. I know you tried to reach me
Yeah,
before
hi,
and you
how are
had some
you?
questions, so I'll take them now. If it's not too personal.
I
Sorry?
think I should better surrender now. I think I should better surrender now.
Okay, go ahead.
Trying
What's
to
your
reach you.
question?
That's not a good idea. No, I mean, I don't have a question. I was like, apparently, I mean, you possibly are too busy to actually get back to
Okay,
that webpreneur
I will
thing, and
get
I've
back
been
to you
waiting
on it.
for
Can you just
quite long,
email me what
actually.
it is that you're looking for? Oh, okay.
Uh,
Is it, are
Naturally, I
you,
want
you
to
have
learn.
access to the
That's what I
platform already
want.
or no?
Yeah, I mean, I have the access, but I definitely need somebody who can actually give me proper
Formal
training and
one-to-one
direction
coaching
and
you're
that.
looking for.
Yeah, I mean, is it,
Well,
I
look,
think this is how it
what
works.
I'm basically adjusting the platform because what I learned is that a lot of people want one-to-one coaching, right? So I'm now putting onto the platform coaches
Mm-hmm.
that you can hire one-to-one, right? So I've either myself or some of my trainers, but it's going to be additional costs, right? Because one-to-one, obviously, you know that takes people's time, right? So what happens is this that will be all
Mm-hmm.
paid for
Mm-hmm.
that you would need to pay for at the time because if you know I also have limited time, right? So I get a lot of people saying, can you help me with this and that, and over the last year I did do that a lot, and I tell you it really hurt me financially, right? Because when I'm
Mm-hmm.
spending an hour coaching someone for free, I'm not going out and making money, right? And so what happens is I have a value of my own time, and this is some things that you'll learn as well, is that you have to value time. So what will happen over the next few weeks, the
Mm-hmm.
platform's changing, so you can buy one-to-one time with myself or with people that
Mm-hmm.
are certified, right? So now, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, if you start going through the course, you get certified and you pass the exam, they'll be able to buy people later on will be able to buy time with you, right? So Webpreneur Academy is turning into a platform where you can
Mm-hmm.
buy and sell time with a lot of other teachers, and so there'll be some people that you can buy one-to-one time for, and they'll be experts in different things. Yeah. But what I will do is because you have
Mm-hmm.
signed on,
Okay,
I will
cool.
take 15-20 minutes, right? Or let's try to make it 10. If you got major questions, I'll answer them. But normally, I'm gonna charge for this time, right? So that's the way it works. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
No, I
perfect.
don't have a
I'll
question.
let you
I'm just
go,
listening
and
and
thanks
responding
for
back.
that, and thanks for listening in. Yeah. Thank you. Dr.
Yeah.
Ed, do you have a question? I saw your hand raised briefly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the hand raising thing. Yeah, I did have a question, but I think you sort of covered it towards the end there. My question was, how do you monitor the work that your VAs are doing? You know, like I'll say I pay somebody for 8 hours, and I want to know that they're putting in a full 8 hours instead of six, and
Yeah.
then going to Starbucks for two. And so you did sort of cover that with the work diary, but this is a physical intervention, is it? Like, do I have to go on and watch their every
What
move,
happen?
or
What happens
how
with
does that
work diary
work
is
mechanically?
let me see if I can find the work diary. Oh, sorry. This lady here is someone that I know we had a work diary for. I'm trying to remember the date. But anyway, this lady here is on the work diary. So what happens is it just tracks. Let me see if it's got it on this date. So now this is her work diary. She was logged in on the 5:20, and these were the times. Right now she's billing me for this time, and it's Audacity is the thing. So Webpreneur Academy or University. Yeah, the green
She's
is
billing you
when
for
she is
the
billing me,
green.
right? And then she
Okay.
logs out, right? So then
Uh-huh.
now here
Yeah.
is a screenshot. So
Okay.
what
Okay.
she was asked to do was, she was asked to do a video, right? Sorry, make an audio recording, and I can see the screenshot of that program. It's called Audacity.
Mm-hmm.
So there she is recording chapter one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she did a good job on that. Yeah. So, time, mouse, whatever. So then at 2:32, this was her screen. She's billing me for that. 2:40, this is her screen. You see, I can even see her face here. And then 2:50, this is her screen. And then I think she must have taken a break at 3, and 3:18, she's back. And this is what's happening, yeah? So you can watch people
accurate,
like this on it, yeah? And do this. So this is what I do as well. So I haven't been doing that as much, but I think you can get into that. So now what will happen is over time you'll have to establish trust with people, right? So you'll have to say, okay, are they good? Are they working on my stuff or not, right? And then yeah, you do have headaches, like some people, oh, my back hurts and all this kind of stuff. But over time, one of the things that I can advise entrepreneurs is, don't be overly nice. Is what I learned is I hired people that were just not performing, right? So like graphic designers whose designs I never liked. And I kept them on because I thought, oh, I feel too bad about letting people go and firing and all this stuff. But what happens is over time it drains your energy because you're focusing on your weakest people, and it's the equivalent of burning money. So what I've done is, I've laid off people where I've given them like 3 months severance pay and all that sort of stuff, which you don't need to, but you also don't want to make enemies online, right? Even when I get contractors, if I really don't like their work, I'd rather not leave a feedback than give them a bad feedback, and I don't want to kind of ruin their what's it called, chances to earn money. If they really messed it up, yeah, maybe I'll leave a bad feedback, but so far I haven't, right? So what you do is I just leave it, and I usually, whoever does a semi good or good job, I leave them an excellent feedback. They're happy, they can continue to make money, and I don't want to hurt their chances. But that's what I do. So that's how you can monitor. But as I said, the other tools are, you can do share screen where you're looking at their screen the whole time. Yeah, and then you can just keep in a monitor on it.
Yeah. And I guess it's a similar question to the quality of their work. And once again, I think you covered that by saying you can go on and work with
Yeah,
them,
you will
look at
have to,
product, etc., etc.
it is an art, right? But what I find is, you've managed people in the real world, and this is the same thing, but it even is, I think, in many ways better, because you can hire people in different time zones. You can say to them, these are the times I want you to work. I want you to work on a Friday and a Saturday, and I want you to work on this. Do you agree with the terms and conditions, right? If they don't and you don't, then don't hire them. But if it works well, then it can work well, really well. Because if you think about it, you're based in the UAE. How much is it going to cost you? It's going to cost. How much is a visa going to cost you for an employee?
Well, yeah, you got to weigh that, I guess. But I think I like the comment of yours. What is your own time worth? I think
Exactly, and for a lot of
that's the real
freelancers,
yardstick.
they don't have an office, and then they have to bring the secretary to their home, and they don't have a computer. So this is the easiest way to get things started, and out task things like data entry that you do, or even creating PowerPoints. And for instance, one of the things that one of my VAs is doing at the moment is, I have my curriculum. She's writing the exam. She's coming up with exam questions, and then I go and edit it afterwards, right? And the other thing she's doing is, I have videos. They're going and transcribing them, right? So you get the transcription of it. So these are the things that you can look at. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, I've got one final question. I don't want to hog the line here, but you were saying that you pay by Visa, or by credit card at least. What's the process there? Do you just leave an open credit card, or do you specify an amount,
You
a limit,
you can put the
and
limits
then
on
refresh
your
it.
credit card, but what I do is I tend to now have gift cards that I buy from locally from Carrefour or these shops where it's a prepaid card, so I'm a little bit more protected if someone takes your card. By the way, if anyone steals
Mm.
from your money from your credit cards, you're legally protected, as in you can because you haven't signed for it, you can always claim it back from your bank, but it's a little bit of a hassle. But the way that you can also use PayPal, and yes, over here it'll say to you what the limits are per hour and all this stuff. Yeah. So this is how it will work. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, you can put them.
Good. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Amir. Very, very, very informative. Thank you. Some
Thank you very much. Thanks for
little
being online.
hidden
Yeah.
questions I have.
Thank you. Heron,
Mm.
Heron, I know you had some questions around. You were, about to start selling content. You got some questions?
Sorry, Amir, you speaking to me?
Yeah.
Sorry, Amir, you speaking to me?
Do you have any questions or any
Hi.
comments or
Sorry, could
anything
you
before we
repeat?
close off?
Well, yeah, I haven't actually needed Well, to use, yeah, I haven't actually needed to use virtual people because I like to try and do all the programming stuff myself because I enjoy that stuff. But you have alerted me to some other areas like getting people to write ebooks and things because I
Yeah,
do have some
what I would
ideas.
say
So
is,
thanks for that.
same here. I tended to really like doing everything, but look at how much it's delaying your launch dates, right?
Yeah,
So start. What I would suggest is,
sure.
because you'll start getting a bit more addicted to this outsourcing after a while. I would suggest, start with one or two tasks, get the hang of it, because, maybe it won't go so smoothly. But once it works well, you really enjoy it, right? But obviously
Yeah.
there's sometimes headaches and all that stuff. But once it works well, as an entrepreneur, you gotta get your vision out faster to the world, yeah. So a lot of times what I do is let's say I'm a
Yeah, sure.
programmer myself. I might know that I want to do some certain things, but I will go and tell the outsourcer that I might hire someone with that skill, and I'll ask them to research the stuff for me so I can ask questions. So for instance, one of the things I was looking at was
Yeah.
Payoneer in terms of how do I pay staff and pay out bills. And I just say, go research this website, and then I ask them the questions that I'm looking for. Rather than having to read all the content myself, they can read it, right? So,
Yeah, sure. And then you got someone to discuss as well, in case you, yeah, because you kind of would have kind of studied the same thing. You
yeah,
can bounce ideas off that particular, like I was talking to you
yeah.
about Aweber and that stuff. If I had to absorb that myself, I wouldn't
Exactly,
be
and this is
asking
what
the
I've
right
done is,
questions, all of the right
I wanted
questions.
to, for instance, I moved from Aweber to MailChimp. Now, it took me a while to get used to Aweber, and then,
Yeah,
so I just had my admin and my VA, one of them, I assigned them to go and learn MailChimp and use it. And these are, I'm getting the rates that I'm paying. I have one Arabizer, and she's based Palestinian, based in Jordan. Grew up in Kuwait, and I'm
mm,
paying her $220 a month and she has a day job like 9 till 5, but so she's giving me about 36 hours a week. I'm paying her 220 a month, and I've hired three Filipinos at $350 a month. I know I could probably get stuff at 250, $200 a month, but I just, these are college grads. They're happy with the rates, and I'm happy. They're pretty good as well. So that's what you can do. And as I said, if it's
yeah,
like when I was first based in the UK, I started outsourcing to Pakistan, and I had a programmer that I hired in London, and he was costing me £2,000 a month, which is about $3,000. And what happened was that was one guy. He couldn't even go and ask anyone for help because he was one lonely coder, and it wasn't like great pay for him. He stepped out of job, And whereas for that kind of money, I can hire amazing people for it. So this is what I would say is check it out, and this is very important, and this is part of the webpreneur curriculum, definitely, right? Okay, thanks for listening, and we'll catch up next week. So if anyone else has got any questions, tune into Webpreneur Academy, and we'll catch up in terms of helping you get your businesses off the ground and doing some great stuff. But in summary, look at outsourcing. It's really going to change your business. It's going to, for those of you who have a day job and a steady income coming in, use this as a way to invest in your ideas. You can hire someone to work on the ideas while your day job pays your bills. And when you're working in the U.S. or Europe, $2,000-$3,000 a month, your salary is normal. Whereas if you got someone in the East, $200 a month, you can get someone relatively straightforward. Get them to do all your work, get your idea off the ground, and I'm sure you'll be successful. And don't forget your teachers when you're rich and famous. So thanks, everybody. We'll catch up next time on webpreneuracademy.com.